Alright, hi, I'm Frank, and what I'm doing today is I am revealing how to make the world's greatest biscotti recipe. Many people have coveted this recipe right here. It's never left this house. For some reason this Christmas season, I'm feeling very benevolent and altruistic. I'm going to share the greatest biscotti recipe in the world with you. And here's how you do it. Ready? Here we go. 1 cup sugar. This is a cup, but I used this cup to measure it. I'm just putting it in this for convenience. 1 cup sugar, 3 cups all-purpose baking flour goes in. 1 tablespoon anise seeds, here they are, whole anise seeds goes in, and 1 tablespoon baking powder goes in. These are all the dry ingredients. I like to get all the dry ingredients mixed up first and thoroughly blended, particularly the baking powder, so that I've got a very uniform mixture. These are going to be Anise Biscotti. This is a very adult flavor. You can check out my other videos where I'll be making Almond Biscotti and chocolate almond biscotti. And if I got time today, I'm also going to put up cranberry, orange, vanilla biscotti, my personal favorite. Okay, so once the dry ingredients are all blended in, now you got to put in the wet ingredients, which includes 3 eggs, ¾ cup canola canola oil, and then 1 tablespoon anise extract. And I use pure anise extract rather than imitation anise extract because these are the world's greatest biscottis, not the second greatest biscottis in the world. Okay, 1 tablespoon pure anise extract. That's all the wet ingredients in. I break the eggs and then I just start stirring this up, and I go as far as I can with the spoon here, and then I stir it, and then I mix it with my hands. Okay, that's about as far as I'm going to be able to go with the spoon here. So I mix it the rest of the way with my hands. Now the biscotti dough should feel somewhat dry. Not crumbly dry, but not moist like a bread dough. And this is feeling a little too moist. So the way I'm going to deal with that, I'm going to put in a little more flour. Why is it feeling a little bit moist? Well, it could be just because of the size of the eggs. But it needs to feel a little dry. Again, not crumbly, but not soft and squishy like a bread dough. Okay, that's feeling better. Yeah, that's good. If the dough is too soft, then when they're baking, they spread out too much and they get too flat. You want your biscotti to have a little bit of a width, a little bit of a thickness. And if the dough is too soft, then they just spread out too much. Okay, so I'm working this until I'm convinced that I've got a very uniform mixture. It's feeling pretty good. Okay, it's good. Now what I do is I pack it into a ball, like a big snowball. This, I believe it leads to a little denseness of the biscotti, which is nice. That way when you dunk it into your coffee, it doesn't fall apart too fast. Okay, so there we go. Pack it into a ball like this. I get rid of all the cracks. Make sure it's all holding together well. I put it in a bowl and I put it in the fridge for half an hour. Okay, it's been at least 30 minutes and the dough's been in the fridge. I've already got the almond in the oven. These are the anise. So the way you do this is you get this ball of dough out of the bowl, onto the cookie sheet, and we're going to cut it in half. Okay, now we're going to take these two halves and we're going to spread them out into long loaves. Okay, come a little closer here and watch how we do this. Now as I'm doing this, I'm really compressing the dough. The goal here is to get them nice and dense so that when they're baked and it's time to slice them, they don't fall apart. Okay, sometimes I like to just loosen them up like that a little bit so that they don't stick to the cookie pan when they're baking. Okay, just try to get these as even as I can. I'm going to get about 16 cookies from this batch, for these two loaves here. Okay, I'm going to spread out a little bit while they're baking. So make sure I got some room in between. Okay, almost there. Okay, so that's the loaves cut, spread out onto the cookie sheet. Now they're going to go in the oven at 350 degrees for 25 minutes. There we go. See, the almond ones are already in there, starting to cook. Okay, here we are. We're going to take the anise loaves out of the oven. It's been about 25 minutes. They just started getting golden brown on top, as you can see here. And so we're going to let these cool for about 10 minutes, get them off this baking dish onto the cutting board, and slice them up into the cookies. Okay, now we're going to transfer the anise loaves here to the cutting board. You got to just move them a little bit to loosen them up from the baking pan, and then just slide them over. Carry them over to the board. Now we're going to cut these, and then we're going to replace them to the pan in order to toast them. When I cut these, the way I do it is I just kind of start sawing through the hard outside, and then I press through the loaf to make the cut. If you don't saw through the outside, you'll end up cracking the outer shell, and you'll crack the cookie, because the inside's still kind of soft. The knife I'm using here is a very stiff bread knife. It's got a wide back on it, but it's got a very sharp edge. Okay, let's place these onto the pan. Now it's the side that's on the pan that's going to actually toast as the pan gets hot again in the oven. And then we'll take them out after that and flip them over to toast the other side after about 5 minutes. You can see how the edge tends to want to crumble a little bit. So whatever cookie I'm cutting, I hold the edges of it together to kind of prevent it from breaking up. Once it gets toasted, it'll be a little stiffer and it won't tend to break after that. Okay, so fit these onto the pan the best you can. Just like that. And they go into the oven for about 5 minutes to toast. Okay, here we go. We're getting the Anise Biscotti out of the oven. They're in here for 5 or 10 minutes, almost 10 minutes to toast. And what I like to do is I like to break them free with the spatula. Just kind of push them to get them loosened from the pan if they're a little stuck. Sometimes they stick. Let me see if I can get one that's stuck. There, like that one's stuck. There we go. Just break them free a little bit like that. Because what we're going to do now is we're going to flip them over to toast them on the other side. So take a look. There's what they look like. See that? See how nice and toasty brown they are? So we flip these babies over. Do the same thing for another 5 minutes or so, and we should be all toasted. We'll get these out for a little taste. It's chef's privilege there. Okay, back in for about another 5 minutes.